At 2 in the morning, one of our worker boxes died in the middle of a document extraction batch. The dashboard said the queue was fine, task count was low, workers were online, no alarms. But one customer job sat there for 9 hours because the row said assigned to Agent 3. Agent 3 was gone. Nobody else would touch it. The fix was not more workers. The fix was admitting that ownership in a fleet is temporary. If a worker can disappear, its claim on work must disappear too. The naive multi-agent orchestration queue has a pending column, an assigned to column, and maybe a status called running. It works in the demo because every worker exits politely. Production is not polite. Processes pause, network calls hang, containers get rescheduled. A model call returns after the orchestrator already retried the task somewhere else. If the original worker can still write completion, you now have duplicate side effects. If it cannot be reclaimed, the task is stuck forever. If recovery always starts from zero, you burn tokens and time. The core mistake is treating assignment like ownership. Assignment is only a hint. Ownership needs an expiration time and proof. The pattern is a time-limited lease. A worker does not get a task forever. It claims the task for a short window, receives a random lease token, and every state-changing right must include that token. If the lease expires, another worker may claim the task. The old worker is now stale, even if it wakes up and tries to finish. Heartbeats can extend the lease, but only when the checkpoint actually moves. And in my preferred version, the worker never marks its own task complete. It produces a candidate result. A verifier checks it. The orchestrator performs the terminal transition. Your task record needs a few boring fields: lease owner, lease token, lease expires at, attempt, checkpoint, and last progress at. Claim with one atomic update: set owner, token, expiry, and attempt where the task is pending or where the existing lease has expired. Exactly one row updated means you own it. 0 rows means walk away. Every save says update where ID equals this task and lease token equals my token. If that update affects 0 rows, raise lease lost and stop immediately. Use 2 clocks. The lease duration handles worker death. The progress timeout handles a worker that is alive but not moving. Heartbeat renews the lease only when checkpoint changed, not just because the process is still breathing. Imagine a coding agent queue. Task 112 says, update the billing retry logic. Agent 7 claims it with token Q9, attempt 1, lease expires in 5 minutes. It checks out the branch, edits 2 files, and saves checkpoint. Files patched, tests not run. That checkpoint write includes token Q9. The agent starts tests, then the machine dies. 5 minutes later, Agent 2 claims the expired lease with token R4, attempt 2. It receives a recovery packet, repository branch, changed files, test command, last checkpoint, and notes. It resumes at tests, not at reading the issue again. The patch becomes a candidate. A verifier runs tests and review checks. Leases are not magic. If your database clock and worker clocks disagree, expiry logic gets weird, so prefer server-side time for claims. If your checkpoint is vague, recovery is fiction. Store enough to resume safely, but not so much that you serialize secrets or giant artifacts into the task row. Side effects still need item potency keys, because a stale worker may have called an external system before it loses the lease. Lease duration is a trade-off. Too short causes churn, too long delays recovery. Progress heartbeats also need judgment. Downloading a huge file may be real progress, but only if you can prove it with bytes, offsets, or a checkpoint. This sits right in the scale tier because single-agent scripts can often get away with simple state. Fleets cannot. Leases connect queue design, state machines verification, retry budgets, and dead letter handling. The worker is a candidate producer. The verifier decides whether the result meets the contract. The orchestrator owns transitions into complete, failed, or dead letter. Attempts should be counted on claim, not only on failure, because crashes are attempts too. When the attempt budget is exhausted, stop recycling the task and create a dead letter record with the last recovery packet. Take one automation you already run and find the place where it writes assigned to, status equals running, or in progress equals true. Add lease owner, lease token, lease expires at, attempt, checkpoint, and last progress at to the record, even if it is just a JSON file for now. Rewrite the claim so it succeeds only when the task is pending or the lease is expired. Add a fake token mismatch test. Let worker A claim, worker B reclaim, then prove worker A cannot save. Finally, write the recovery packet you wish you had after a crash. If you cannot write it, your checkpoint is not good enough yet. 3 beats to keep. First, in a multi-agent orchestration queue, ownership must expire. Permanent assigned to fields create ghost tasks. Second, the lease token is the guardrail that rejects stale writers after a reclaim. Without it, retries can corrupt state. Third, recovery should resume from a packet, not restart from zero, and completion should pass through verifier, then orchestrator. This is unglamorous plumbing, but it is the plumbing that lets fleets survive normal failure. New loop engineering episode daily on this channel. Build loops that finish, verify, and stop.